Good morning, everyone. I am so grateful to be able to gather with all of you today. I am State Representative Kate Farrar. I represent the 20th District of West Hartford and Newington. And with Representative Arzeno, who you'll hear from, we are just so proud to welcome you to this morning's conversation with so many of our incredible organizations who are serving our refugee and immigrant neighbors and friends. We know that our state is stronger because of refugees and immigrants, and I think it's particularly fitting, you can see my green today, that it is St. Patrick's Day. And for myself, you know, I had relatives who came from Ireland, from Italy to build a life here. And my own husband came here as a refugee when he was a child to rebuild their lives after war. And we know that in our state, we hold values that are about the welcoming and diverse experience that we know is of great value to our state and every resident. And that's why in this time of federal attacks on our refugees and immigrants, we stand strong with the organizations and the refugee and immigrants that are here today and across the state. And we're so grateful to be able to share many of their stories and the actions that we can take together. But to open us and to welcome as well, I just want to acknowledge and give the microphone to my dear colleague, Representative Arzeno, who probably had the longest drive of the morning to get here from Greenwich. So Representative Arzeno.
Thank you very much, Kate. Thank you. Well, I am like many of us, if not all of us, first, second, third, fourth generation. Born and raised in Argentina. On my mother's side, my grandfather was Swiss, my grandmother was French, and on my father's side, my great-grandfather was Italian and great-grandmother Spanish. So, and this is what I am, like many of us, if not all of us. And thank you very much for being here today, and thank you, Rachel. And where is Rachel? Here is Rachel. Thank you, Rachel, for what you do, what the Jewish Family Service do for the immigrant population. And sometimes you have to make decisions. I remember back in September when I got a call from Sharif, which I have the pleasure of meeting before, and see the work that they do for immigrants, let's say, people that came, that fought with us in other countries, and now they face some of the issues and problems that we are seeing all around in the countries. And this is not what we are. This is not what we are. We had been, like many countries in America, like now we like to call the Western Hemisphere, we always welcome immigrants. In the 1800s, in the 1900s, First World War, Second World War, we were countries that were welcoming immigrants. And it's not what we are seeing today. So when Sharif's son was taken by ICE, I immediately jumped in, and I'm glad that Representative Meskers also came up alone and signed letters and see what we can do to have him back home. And 100 days later, just before Christmas, that was in September, we had Sharif back home. And I know that Senator Blumenthal, Representative Himes had been also very much involved, and Senator Murphy, and I am so proud to be part of Connecticut today. Thank you very much and welcome, and so pleased for you, Sharif, and your family.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. We are going to hear from some very special guests today, but I think it's worth, as Representative noted, to kind of put this in context of what we've been facing really over the last year. Back, at the start of last year, our refugee and immigrant serving organizations, CERI, IRIS, JFS, they experienced some of the first federal cuts, and it's why us as a state we stepped up with a small amount of funding to support their organizations. But since then, with the federal passage of H.R. 1, many of our refugee and immigrant neighbors and friends have lost health insurance, have lost food assistance, have lost access to housing. And we know that we have to act not just for their well-being, but for the strength and well-being of our state. And to share a little bit about their experiences and how this connects to what we need to do next as a state, Representative Zaino highlighted a little bit of this already, but we are grateful to have Javid.
Yeah, Javid.
Javid, thank you, Javid, for joining us and for sharing your story. Javid, please.
A very good morning. My name is Javid Siddiqui. I'm the Director of Immigration Support Services with Jewish Family Services of Greenwich. I came to the United States in 2021, and I've been working before that across the world with United Nations and many other organizations in humanitarian field. And back in Afghanistan, I used to work with countless number of projects just with Americans for humanitarian work and women's rights and many others. I came here and I started my work with Syria. Then I joined JFS, and I'm still working with them. It was around. I'm sharing this story as a father, as an immigrant, and as a person that very much dependent on technical assistance from many organizations where I went through. My son was taken into custody on September, and he was 100 days into in detention. And what we went through, it was a horrible experience. My wife used to lock herself in house, and he stopped sending my little kid to the school for the fear that he will be also taken. And just dealing with everything, and I always had to leave a person with my wife because she had the fear that when I'm alone, somebody will come and take me there. And this is something, the story of an immigrant. I am the Director of Immigration Support Services. I'm working with those people just affected but yet my family used to go through that one. It was a torturous experience that I hope nobody goes through this one. She didn't go to market. She couldn't have access to anything but from the fear. And there are countless number of our clients that were dealing with the same situation. They're not able to go and access, let's say, food pantries. They are not able to go and access health services. And recently there is a lot of benefits that has been cut, and they are very much dependent on the service of these three agencies that we're working here. And we're talking about over 100,000 immigrants that they are here. They are part of the society. They are doing quite well. The example is the 3 Afghan ladies that they are here. They have been here just slightly over 3 years, and 3 of them not only got into UConn, but into 2 many other universities. And this is a pathway they have chosen here, and this is how peaceful they are. And I hope that with what's happening around, immigration policies, and I think there will be a great loss of, resources for them in the future, and we very much depend on the sort of assistance and help from the state level. And I'm calling up in Legislative Council to help us, to not leave us alone. And I think we have a long way for immigrants to become self-sufficient and become part of this community and integrate into these communities. And I think they're on the right pathway. That just the best thing is just to continue until they get to the finishing line. So thank you, Representative, for helping us. And I think when I was in those difficult times, my colleagues from different agencies, as well as the representative and everyone here helped me. And I think we are a family together working for immigrants, and may this continue for many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Javed, for sharing that, but certainly we don't want anyone else to go through what your family went through. Next, we're going to hear from Anna. Welcome, Anna. We're so glad to have you. Yeah.
Thank you. This is tough. Good morning. My name is Anna. I am from Venezuela, very popular these days. I work at IRES, Integrated Refugees and Immigrant Services. I came to this country 8 years ago as a student. Then I applied for TPS, and I was somehow happy. And then I had to apply for asylum because we were afraid of what ended up happening, which was TPS was revoked. I do have the same fear as your wife. Sometimes it's hard just because I feel that I did what I have to do in terms of, like follow the rules. We came escaping from Venezuela, which was awful, and it was because of my son having, a better future here. When I have to sit with my son to say, you have to be careful, he will say, I'm black, so I don't look Latin. And that breaks my heart because he is Latin and he shouldn't be feeling that way. So that's my story. I also feel that when we're serving our clients, I forget about my story, but then I'm relate to them in so many ways, and it's very important for us to understand that it's very hard to be self-sufficient just in 3 months. We're now not resettling any refugees. We are trying to support them with all the programs that we have. I also have the food pantry under my wing. This is the only program that not only serves our refugee clients, but it's open to the community. And we served around 650 people every Wednesday. So the need is there. And even though they also feel the fear of coming, they come. And they come because they're hungry. And so we do need to support programs like this and really help them to be self-sufficient. And I'm hoping that this will be a good place to talk about this every time, and I'm hoping that people will listen. And yeah, thank you for having me.
And final, Deo. Deo, can we give a round of applause to Deo?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Deo Biakisaka. I came to the United States in 2014 with my family as a refugee. And we were resettled by CIRI, Connecticut Institute for Refugees and Immigrants. After 2 years, I started working at CIRI as a case manager, and as I'm talking to you now, I'm the Chief Program Officer for the Refugee Department. On January 17 of last year, we received a Somali family, a mother with 4 children. The husband and 1 son were in a refugee camp in Kenya. So the next day when the family arrived, the mother said to the case manager, I wanted to see your supervisor. Then they brought the lady to me. Then I started talking to her, and she speaks Swahili, I speak Swahili. It was so good for her to see me and talk. And one question she asked me is, my husband and the son going to come soon? I said, yeah, they will come. So there's no problem. The next day I received the assurance that the husband and the son, they are going to be arriving on February 3rd, 2025. That was on 18th of January. And on the 24th, that was a Friday evening, we heard that all the program was suspended, no more arrival, nothing. Yet I had already assured that lady and saying that the family is coming. I told her even the day the family is arriving. On Monday, I had to go to meet her and talk to her, say, no, your husband and son are no longer coming. That was tough. And that was for many of the refugees we've been receiving, we've been working with. From that day, we had to change everything. What are we going to do? We don't have money for helping these families to receive all the services they need. So the money we had, which is called Welcome Fund from the state, helped us to do everything. Employment, food, whatever services that's supposed to receive, they did. That lady, as I'm talking to you today, she got a job, she's working, though the husband and son are not yet here, but she's very happy because she told me that I can support them there. I work, I make some money, I send there. How did this all come? We didn't have money. She was there, a single mom with young kids. What could we do to help her, support her with housing? She could not go and work. Because we had that money, it helped to pay her rent, help her go to ESL and other children. And today, as I said again, the lady is self-sufficient. She is supporting her family. Another family, they arrived on December of 2024. The husband, the father, needed to replace his hip because of the accident he had back in a refugee camp. The first day when I met him, he asked me, will I be able to work? I said, yes, here, as you are here now, we are confident everything is there. But in January, as I said again, no funding. So what will happen to that? But with the help that we got from this fund here, it helped us to secure everything that we needed, medical assistance, everything for the family. And the father had that surgery, which went very successful, and he had a physiotherapy, he had orthopedic shoes, and starting January of this year, he got a full-time job, and he's also working. All this support we've been able to provide because of the funding that we got from here. And today, this is just an example that I'm telling you from Syria. If Iris has to talk about what is happening there, if JFS has to talk about what is happening there, it's a lot. We need your support. That's why we are standing here. These people are there outside, they need us. They need everything we can do so that they can start new life. All of us immigrants, I told you, when I arrived as a refugee without the support of Syria, I could not do anything. But today I'm here. So these people are still outside there. They also need this support. We have to stand with them. We have to stand with these resettlement agencies so that they have whatever it needs to help families who are coming. Thank you very much.
You heard how pivotal our state support through the Welcome Fund has been in the past, but the needs are even greater, not just because of the federal cuts last year, the impact of H.R. 1, but the anticipated cuts of nearly $6 million by October 1st that are also going to hit many of the supports and services that you just heard about. And to speak to the day-to-day needs as well and what's needed next from all of us at the state level, I'd love to welcome up the leaders of Siri and Iris and JFS, Susan, Maggie, and Rachel. Please come on up. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We have endless gratitude to Representative Farrar and Arzino and all of the other legislators in the room for championing this cause. What's so incredible is to look around the room and to see people that truly represent the state of Connecticut. From Norwich to Greenwich, I see them all over and everything in between, and we're grateful for your support. I also just want to take a moment to thank Susan Schnitzer and Chris Altrock from Siri, who really pulled us together. I think Maggie Maggie and I are proud to stand with you, by you, however, and we're grateful to you for pulling this together. So this is different, and it's really important for everybody to understand what's different about where we are today. So this is not just about funding loss. I thank Representative Farrar for using that number of $6 million. That's a lot of money that we are going to lose for the immigrant community. But as social service agencies and immigrant-facing agencies, we're nimble. We're used to having fluctuations in funding. It ebbs and flows at different times. What's different about this is the systematic stripping of every immigrant family's ability to survive in Connecticut and across the country. Because of the recent policy changes with H.R. 1, our families that were previously working, thriving, contributing to our communities, paying taxes, are suddenly left without legal status, without work authorization, without the ability to pay rent, without food security and other benefits. These are individuals who want to work. They have skills. They were, and now are unable to. This places an unreasonable burden on an already overburdened system. Our emergency rooms, our food pantries, our homeless shelters. This is a humanitarian crisis in the making. What's important to know is it's not hypothetical. This is not something that may happen. It's already happening. And organizations like CIRI, IRIS, and JFS, and so many of our community partners here today from across the state, we are already seeing it, we are feeling it, and we are trying to manage it. Our concern is our ability to keep our doors open. Please understand that this is not just a loss of funding that we can find in another place. Our clients need more, they have less, and we already heard about the fear. What we're asking for is literally the ability to make sure that every family in Connecticut has a place to go, has a place that they feel safe, and a place that they can get the services that they need. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Maggie Mitchell-Salem, Executive Director of IRIS. My colleagues are doing a great job at telling you what has happened with H.R. 1 and the impact on our clients. I'm going to pull back a little bit further because there's a lot the state of Connecticut cannot do. The state of Connecticut cannot stop the rebedding, the rescreening of refugees, which started in Minneapolis and is going to happen across the country. The state of Connecticut cannot open the borders to asylum seekers. That's a federal task, and this government has shut down those borders. Federal government has taken a number of different policy changes and funding changes that the state of Connecticut cannot stop. What we can do is lean into our values. We know who we are as a state. And while our country, our federal government, may no longer be welcoming, we can be, and we should be. And we do that by sometimes putting our money where our mouth is, literally. So that's our ask. But it's more than that. It's about each of us digging deep and saying, what do we believe? What do we believe as individuals? What do we believe as groups? What do we believe as a state? And Anna alluded to this, and I'm going to give you an example from IRIS, because we had to make a very big decision last year about whether or not we were going to resettle the people that the federal government was sending through the U.S. refugee admissions program. These are not refugees, and we know who we serve. We serve the world's most vulnerable people. We don't serve people because they are allied with the president in the White House. We serve people because if they stay where they are, they could die. And that is not the case with the people that the government, federal government, is resettling. And we took that stand. And I'm very proud to say that our board unanimously and our staff absolutely unanimously support it. It means our jobs could be cut. It means our funding is going to be cut, and we could take extra retribution from the federal government because they don't like what we're doing. And I say, bring it. And to the state of Connecticut and to any resident here, this is the fight. It's not just a fight about immigrants. It's a fight about who we are as a country. And Connecticut can lead the way. It was one of the original signers of the Declaration of Independence. And at 250 years, this is our moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Rachel. My name is Susan Schnitzer. I'm the president and CEO of Connecticut Institute for Refugees and Immigrants. And I do want to point out what I think a lot of you are seeing right here, but something that's very special about this group. We are 3 organizations. We are the only 3 refugee serving agencies in Connecticut, and we are here together. You'll hear, right, we've resettled each other's clients, we share staff, and we're sharing this mission of really helping to support folks who are here. As Maggie said, we can't do certain things, the state can't do certain things, but what we can do is support the refugees and immigrants who are here in the thousands in the state of Connecticut. So I want to thank all of you, our legislators, our supporters, for coming here and listening to what our ask is. My colleague Deo mentioned a welcome fund. And I do want to say that is $2 million split equally among the 3 agencies that allows us to weather some of these storms, right? And it's not about the funding, but the funding does help us keep our staff employed, who then work with our clients and keep our clients employed. So it's very important that this small amount of money can impact thousands of lives across the state, our neighbors, residents of our state. So our very specific ask today is for $1 million, just a little over $330,000 for each of our agencies to come out of the governor's federal response fund. So we're asking our legislators to advocate with the governor. We are asking our colleagues and our supporters to write letters to the governor. So this $1 million will allow each of our agencies to continue to support the people and our clients that the country has invited in and has welcomed in. And that will support everything from employment, housing stability, food security, so that hundreds, maybe thousands of people in this country can continue to contribute to the economic, social, and the intellectual vibrancy of our state. So again, write this down and remember it. That's $1 million to support the collaboration among our 3 agencies here from the Federal Response Fund. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining today. I know personally, seeing your faces and hearing your stories keeps, I know, myself and many of my colleagues here focused on what we can do. And I just want to acknowledge, in addition to Rep. Arzano, I want to acknowledge Rep. Menapace, who's here, and Rep. Garibay, and also acknowledge my colleagues, Rep. Leeper and Rep. McCarthy-Vahey, who were involved in the planning but unable to be here this morning. But thank you. We have in front of us what we can do for the refugees and immigrants of the state, and let's do it together. So thank you all so much for joining us.